Okay, I have never played Revolution Idle before. If you haven't seen me do one of these idle game streams in the past, the way that I do this is I'm playing 4 different idle games at the same time, and I play them actively until I run out of stuff to do, and then I'll tab off of it and come back to it. So if you're watching in the future on YouTube, whenever you see that live split timer jump ahead by a bunch, that's how much time has passed when I tabbed off of it. But yeah, I don't know anything about this game. Watch the circles fill and the numbers go up. Each time a circle fills, you gain score and multiplier for that color. Okay. You can buy colors. They increase the circle speed. Ascension is a prestige reset for that color. How many of these games are like, we want to like speed run to prestiging? Here you can watch the circles fill and the numbers go up. Ascend, prestige, and promote are all different kinds of prestiging. Time flux. Okay, so this is kind of similar to the way that offline time works in idle loops. I like this one already. Let me kill the audio since we won't be able to hear it across each game. I guess we can keep the sound effects, but... Actually, the 720 seems fine. Let's just leave that. Probably need to think about any of this stuff. That's all fine. Starter pack. Ah, jeez. Okay, hopefully the game isn't balanced around spending any money. I'd rather they just... I fucking hate free-to-play games, man. Just charge me. Charge me $10 so I could play your game. So I don't have to think about how your math is balanced, right? Progress to infinity, 0.4%. Okay. Okay, so we're doing this like color thing, and we have the different circles on the outside. That's cute. Reach a million score. Automatic use on startup. Time warp was removed from the game and is no longer available. Ah. Okay. Spending money isn't effective in this one. So these are all like affecting each other is kind of the idea. I like this one visually much better than that shark game we were just playing. Shark incremental, I should say. Okay, so it's not like the really important currency bonuses from Territory Idol. I see, so the multiplier gain is separate from the effect of the actual circle itself. Got it. This is another one where it's like kind of tough to eyeball, like, okay, so like, guess you just do it based on order of magnitude. If something is like 2 orders of magnitude behind, you should go ahead and click on it. This one. Do these all have the same base effect? The only thing that differentiates them is how much their cost is for the starting upgrade and how much it scales after that. True for now, okay. So like the real incredible thing that I'm getting is mult right now. So I think if I'm following the game right, for now it probably makes the most sense to just take whatever the cheapest upgrade is. I see. So this mult gain I misunderstood that. I thought that meant that like I'm just adding it every time I click on this, but it's actually increasing the rate at which this increases. I see. So maybe you don't always take the cheapest one because like letting this grow a little bit is pretty substantial. That's cute. This is kind of a cool as a like a swing at let's make a really pure, let's like try to like break down what makes idle games exciting into the most basic rudimentary form possible, right? Like no real theming, right? Just number go up. I like that. I think that's cool. I guess maybe we can guess that the next tier of upgrade is going to be. So what's actually governing when I get a new tier of upgrade? Is that when I've banked a certain amount of resource or when I've purchased a certain number of the previous resources? Ascension number 0. Must be the previous number. Okay. This guy. But it can start growing. This is probably a good one to let idle for a while compared to Shark Incremental. I don't think that's a spreadable issue, right, It's got to be something with your monitor or something, like... So you have this, like, fixed color on your screen that's flashing constantly. I can see how that can maybe be problematic on certain monitors, but... You get those, like, floaters if you stare at the circle for too long, or you, like, see, like, an after image in your vision. Getting these up to, like, 10 initial upgrades seems pretty worth it early on. Hmm. Okay, so this is interesting. What does the value in brackets on the right mean? I thought that these were all basically just the exact same rate of increase. As long as, like, I assume that if I got this to 14, that this would also be plus 0.1 instead of plus 0.07, but it doesn't look like that's true. Well, let's see. I guess I don't make that number go up at all, do I? Hmm. I see. And that's not being affected by purchasing things, it looks like. And that is different for each color, right? It looks like. I see. All right, this one making a pretty significant jump there to get all the way up to 1 million. Probably hold out for it. Always an interesting question. It's like, is it better to hold out, or will I get there faster if I get an upgrade now, right? Will the temporary cost be offset by the increase in speed? It could be hard to eyeball, I feel like. I do want them to be able to, like, grow it all, though, so... Especially if I'm going to be tabbing off this one soon. I like this one, though. This one's cool. I can see how this one is both interesting to play attentively and to idle. Hey. Unlock the leaderboard. Each achievement gives you stuff too. Okay, that's cute. Wow, so buying this was pretty huge, it seems like. I guess I like this one, but I don't really intuit the math very well. It can't just be the effect of this tiny multiplier that's making me get back up to 1 million so quickly, is it? Let me get a second one of these, then I'll buy a bunch of the cheaper ones. Maybe it's just waiting so long means that everything else has grown a lot, so it looks like it's a lot faster, but that was actually the bigger effect. Get a solid circle. Ah, okay. It's filling so fast. It's pretty cute. Secrets. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, just because the new malt, especially since the new malt starts growing on itself, so even if you only buy it once. But I think the reason it's, like, even though the new malt itself was pretty small, the fact that I had to sit there for so long to wait to get to 1 million is why, once I had waited that long, these had already grown so high that it looked way faster than before I had purchased it. Yeah, this is cool. I like this one a lot, actually. I think that of the idle games I've seen, like, you know, ones that are more themed and have more like of a top-down approach, it's like, okay, so what are we trying to simulate here with the idle mechanics? I tend to prefer those, but this one, being pure math, is probably the best pure math idle game I've seen out of, like, maybe like 6 or 7 at this point. Might hold out until I see whatever the next color is. And then we'll go on to Realm Grinder here. Yeah, hard to tell if, like, stabilizing the prices is a good strategy, or if I should always be going for the expensive thing, or if I should be doing the thing where it's like, if it's 2 orders of magnitude lower than your most expensive upgrade, then you should go ahead and buy it. I guess stuff like that tends to work if you just say, if you can buy it trivially, buy it. Otherwise, wait. 1 billion for cyan. Coming up on the best color, indigo. Billion's a lot, though. To get a solid orange would be fun, just to have another solid ring. Okay, and these cap at level 100. That's interesting. Get them all to the same order of magnitude. Maybe we'll just go with pump the biggest guy until it's an order of magnitude higher. I want to see if I want to go crazier than that or not. Because each time I'm buying these, always just like additive. Each additional point of red is less valuable than each additional point of turquoise. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, so the way I'd put it is that I don't care too much if I can't intuit the most impactful purchase, so long as it doesn't fuck me to make the wrong one. I feel like I'm not getting fucked here, right? If I just go like this, it might be like, 50% as fast as making the optimal choice, but it doesn't feel like I'm going to be set back by an hour or 10 hours or a day or a week or a month like you can do in Realm Grinder. I still mostly like Realm Grinder. It's just I feel like some of their choices with the factions are some of the biggest potentials for misplay in the genre. Catastrophic trivial misplay is what I would call it. It's all three words because it's fine to have a game where you can misplay. It's fine to have a game where you can, well, is it fine to have a game where you can trivially misplay? I think the onus is on developers to make it difficult to trivially misplay, where it's just kind of like a stupid thing that you can do. Like if you can stop the player from doing that, you probably should in most cases. I feel like a misplay, like making a mistake, ought to be interesting. You know what I mean? And there's an art to making mistakes interesting. Catastrophic misplay can be acceptable as long as it's not trivial, but a catastrophic trivial misplay is like the worst possible thing in a game, I think. Yeah, if you make a mistake here, the number is still going up and you get back to where you were faster. It's a good way to put it. Daily reward. I see. You don't use your Steam name for the username. I might actually be able to get to 1 billion. And once I get there, I'll click off this. I do want to see what happens when I max the red one. It seems like that's pretty attainable. Yeah, I suppose that's true. That's why that game doesn't make me want to die. I like Realm Grinder, to be clear. Yeah, the difference between perfect play and trivial misplay is centuries of time. That's insane. You can model it as that gap, I think is the right way to think about it. I want to see this max out, but I'd rather wait to get cyan. We'll have to come back and get indigo later. It is cool watching this get faster and faster. We're going to get something that's able to increase this. Okay, that's cute. Yeah. Sweet. Now I'll get this to 100 and then we'll swap. Curious to see what this is like after you let it idle for like an hour. How long do I have to wait to get this, I guess? Yeah, I think that's cool. That's how I feel about Your Chronicle. Your Chronicle feels like the perfect idle game because, like, I think you could just sit and play it attentively the whole time, but also idling it is really good because they have certain things where it's like, okay, you know, this fairy research. It was running for like 60 days or something, and I still didn't max out the fairy research. It's fucking great. Ooh, is that what this is? First Ascension. Send a buyable. I see. Yeah, so like the one more turn thing plays in here. It's like, well, I want to buy one of these now, right? And that just... Is the main purpose of that is that it increases the level cap, or does it do something else? I haven't seen any of the other stats change. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. So, like, you want to, like, catch it back up to the old rotation speed, I suppose. All right, if I don't swap off this, I'm never going to swap off it, so I'm going to swap off it now. This one's cool, though. Okay, been away from Revolution Idol for a minute. Things are looking crazy. Let's see what we can get here. Hey! Indigo. Buy blue. Buy purple. Okay. Send some of these here. This one's pretty satisfying to come back to after you leave it for a minute, because of the whole acceleration concept. Okay. Get red back up to the point where it's like solid. Anything that's like less than trillions we should be able to do. Maybe even like single digit trillions. Prestige window. Click 5 times the prestige. So make a multi-exceed 1000. That's cool. What's the thought on prestiging here? I guess I don't know if it's worth getting to the white ring before I do that. Pretty ridiculous cliff. Ascension 1, Ascension 0. Close to ascending this one, but it's kind of expensive. Yeah, when is it worth doing, though? It's kind of hard for me to conceptualize. Like, should I prestige when it tells me I can prestige, or should I wait a certain amount of time? The exponent seems like it would be pretty important. Emult greater than times 30. Oh, okay. Siege for the first time. Unlock multi-buy. Seems pretty strong compared to where I was before. Right, since it's on top of everything else, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Do you get the next color once you've bought 5 levels of the previous color? Is that the rule? Yeah, looks like that's right. It's always right on purchase, so I don't think it's based on accrued resources. I think it's based on purchases. I want to make this thing go away. Hide and shop, thank you. Get up to 1 million per revolution. So even when the color is solid, you can still get more laps. It won't show it to you anymore visually. Okay. Great. Back to where you were pretty fast, it looks like. Guess the temporary loss of lap speed is pretty bad if you're not able to like count for it right away. Keep that in mind. Each one of these speeds up the lap speed by a lot though, so give me indigo. I like this one a lot though. I like that it's more explicitly about like your accelerating exponential growth. So that it works much better as a pure math game. I can't believe, like, are you serious about Shark Incremental that, like, once you get to 1,000 prestige, the game becomes interesting? And, like, the ×3 multiplier from each prestige gets you there how many hours of somewhat attentive play? I feel like a lot of these games really live and die on, like, the specific math, right? The specific pacing. Like you really need to like think about it and play test it and ask yourself like how many minutes do I want the player to be spending in this period? Like how do I want this to feel if they like alt tab out of it versus if they are babysitting it, right? You can't just like pick a number. Some of these games feel like the dev just like picks a number. I don't know this. It's like you think about like how Magic the Gathering is kind of standardized, like the relationship between damage and mana cost, and even further in games like Slay the Spire, right? Like if you're doing a turn-based RPG, and you're trying to use like tiny Paper Mario style numbers, like the design space for that is defined already, right? Like if you're gonna make a game where like most attacks do 1, 2, or 3 damage and like 10 damage is an insane amount, you had best play Paper Mario, right? You'd best play the Slay the Spire board game since that's also in that kind of regime of math. I wonder how much harder it is since all these games have wildly different like uh, scales in terms of like what numbers they get to and how quickly they get to them. How difficult it is to do that research for this genre. 3 to 4 prestiges for automation. I see. That seems absurd, but if it's such a core mechanic to what the game is. Yeah. They're not interesting, and like they're like really attentive, because like I was saying, like there's basically no difference between 3 minutes of AFK and an hour and a half of AFK. That's crazy. Achievements we have. Guess we can spend time flux, right? Does it automatically, I suppose? Reading that right? And it costs in the tens of billions. This needs to go up to 5. And then I guess once I'm able to buy purple, I'm officially caught up to where I was before, and that's probably a good point to tab out. Because you don't like completely start over when you prestige, huh? Starts you at level 5. Was mult gain before? I thought it went from times 0.01 to times 0.1, but now it's times 0.11. Is that a change from the prestige that I missed? Appreciate that they always use 2 decimal points here. Press to infinity. I mean, it also went up to times 0.11, not times 0.10. I remember it going from times 0.01 to times 0.10, but I didn't remember it going to 0.11. Oh, could be from achievements. Okay, thanks. The game balanced around me spending these free currencies on these. These are all permanent, I guess. Oh, it's cute to have the different kinds of graphics for it. Save up for prestige exponent is probably more important. Once I buy this purple, I'll move on. Got there after the first couple hours. I just feel like the pacing at the beginning is awful. I don't like it. Not the biggest fan. Right. Yeah. So I guess some of them need to ascend to get a high enough level cap to be able to become solid. Okay, so it's prompting me to prestige again. So you're saying I want to get plus 30 mult from what I had previously before it's worth doing? And does the prestige thing just pops up once I've unlocked purple for the first time? Oh, 30 times my current mult. Okay. So this needs to go to like 6,000 before I bother. Pick up a few more purples here and then we'll get out of here. Oh, how does the exponent increase work? Is that just derived from the multiplier increase in some way? I kind of want to see how much the white one costs. So I'll do one more set of these, two more sets of these. Boost when it boosts, okay. And infinity is a completely different concept from prestiging. It's pink and then white, I see. Probably not going to be hitting quintillion. Get out of the 2-digit trillions. Maybe ascend green. I think that's achievable. Right, so like the 30 times mult is more noticeable, I guess. So, is ascending never bad? Or is there some, like, level that you have to reach immediately after ascending to, like, restabilize to where you're gaining the same amount of mult that you were per second previously? I get that prestiging can be bad. I'm just curious if ascending works the same way. Is the increased mult gain always worth the reduced lap speed? Is, I guess, the question. So it does start you at level 5, right? But like 10 would make a difference, it sounds like. I wish it projected that kind of a thing when you went to click on it. So you get to max level and then you wait to ascend until you have enough bank. I guess you don't know how much it's going to cost after you ascend, but it's probably going to be an increase from whatever you just paid. Let's see. Do the single digit quadrillions. Okay. Prestige malt. Max score. Okay, most of this is unlocked. Game completion 0.9%. Cool. Fun. Actually, I could hit quintillion now. Just wait out for that. This does have that just one more turn aspect to it, which is cute. You buy one pink, then the pink can start building up while we're tabbed out. Almost there. It feels good that when you wait like this, it's like as soon as your reward for waiting is that now the thing is accelerated so much that you could just hit it again almost right away afterward, right? It's pretty cool. Let's try to pump the green up to like 10 or 15 and then we'll tab out. Is that possible with me tabbed out on a initial prestige? Going for an hour and a half. Two-digit quadrillions. Hit this guy. All right, we'll be back with more of this one. All right, haven't been gone from this for terribly long. It seems like it's advancing pretty quickly here. Get this up to 5 just to see what this costs. octillion. Okay. Let's do all the 2-digit quadrillions. So you said if I can get infinity before the end of this stream, that'll be helpful for the next time we play. Is that what you're saying? Is that going to happen before I prestige again? If I'm going to 6,000, it looks like 6,000 is actually going to happen relatively reasonable rate. You want to keep doing quadrillions here. Just keep pumping this. Probably get this up again, right? Oh, it goes to 110, that's right. Probably camp this until my Realm Grinder alarm goes off. Get this to cap, and then we'll wait a little bit to make sure that we can pump it right back up. So, is there a way to know when you ascend? I wish that when you like hovered over this, it told you what your laps per second was going to drop to. Is it always the same? Is it like predictable what it's going to be after you click on it? Get out of 2-digit quintillions, I guess. Okay, so this will be, it'll drop to 10, but it's still, it's lame that it like makes the interval go away on the side in the bracket there. This was plus 0.2. Well, if that's true, then ascending isn't bad, right? You're still at neutral when you ascend, because if this is going to drop back down to 2.2 laps per second instead of 22 laps per second, but the multiplier gain is going to go up by a factor of 10, doesn't that neutralize, or am I misunderstanding? Is it slowing down though? Because it sounds like it's staying exactly the same when I hit ascend. Like, can you explain the math on why it slows down? Right, if once I ascend it starts at level 10, then 10 times 0.2. It's worse because of the accelerating part. Okay, that's the part I didn't understand. Thank you. And that ends up being about the same as like 5 or so levels post ascension, I guess. I wish I could see what the cost was before I ascend to this. I'm not even sure if I'm close to being able to afford to do it here. Ascension 2. I guess I may as well spend this now, right? I guess I didn't set my level to 10. It went to 5 again, so I guess that makes it even worse, huh? The molt gain is still higher than just going up by a factor of 10, though. Sense. Digit quintillions here. Digit sextillion. It's time. Really shut this off. But now it's time to prestige again because I'm back up to 8,000. Or it was 6,000 was our target, right? Excuse you, Mr. Ben. Excuse you. Don't step on that, please. Thank you. Kind of want to see white, but I don't think we'll get there in time because octillion's a lot. Prestige basically whenever at this point. Gives me something for having double ascension, just trying to get other achievements if that has like multiplier effects. Benedict. Sorry, he's sitting on my capture card. 3 hours straight without logging off. Still not quite up to 2,000. The difference between promote and prestige. The fuck? Is this like double prestige? Assume you don't want to do that until after you prestige a certain number of times. This is climbing so crazy fast now, it feels... Let's see how quickly I get back here, I guess. Achievements. Prestige twice. Each 1,000 P malt. Okay. Pretty teeny tiny. Oh wow, that is pretty fast, huh? I'm going to tab back out because my timer went off for Realm Grinder, but I want to get to a point where leaving it up is fine. Yeah, no, I know. I have the time flux on. Just an additional ×5, right? Not that crazy. Think before, so we're trying to work our way back to here. So, like, what's the guideline on when to promote, I guess? I want to get everything that's out of quadrillions. In quintillions now we can try to get out of. Bonuses are a week. Okay. How would it tell me plus 10 levels? Is that like this thing at the bottom? Go from 0 to level 10? I see. Okay, I think we're at the point where I can tab out. Get these on 3-digit sextillion. Maybe like when you see the prestige window, that's the time to tab out. Okay. We want like 630k for our multiplier. Okay, holy crap. I've been away from this for a minute, haven't I? I'm still not at infinity? How is that possible after it's been running for so long? I guess I could like prestige and see if we get there really fast. 1 mil P mult. 1.1 exponent. I want to see like how quickly I spin up here. I can see the progress to infinity is blowing up pretty fast. Don't think I have too much in the way of future Marstead notes for this game. It kind of is straightforward. Boost window. And this does have some, does this just convert offline time into like boost time, like idle loops essentially? I don't think I can afford to camp this any longer, so we'll let that go where it is.